I'm Tony Smith, Chairman of the Joint Structural Division of SAICI. This is joint with the Institution of Structural Engineers in the UK. We are tasked with looking after the development and goodwill of structural engineers within the SAICI family. CROSS SA, it stands for Confidential Reporting on Structural Safety, Southern Africa. CROSS, Confidential Reporting on Structural Safety, originated in the United Kingdom and was put together by the Institution of Structural Engineers, the Institution of Civil Engineers and the Health and Safety Executive. CROSS has now been expanded to Southern Africa as part of an initiative of the Institution of Structural Engineers, has been picked up by the JSD and is being disseminated throughout the Southern African region. CROSS will also, henceforward, be developed into Australia, Singapore, Canada and the Caribbean, together with other regions which are encompassed within the sphere of the Institution of Structural Engineers in the UK. CROSS has been developed due to the fact that many engineers come across problems in their day-to-day lives, some of which are large, some of which are small, but all of which need resolution, and the learnings from those problems should be disseminated throughout the engineering industry. If one were to look at a parallel, say the aviation industry, every fault, defect, problem within the aircraft industry, flights are recorded. They're recorded confidentially. They're recorded into the FAA, the CAA, South African DCA. They're reported then worldwide. The intention is not to apportion blame. The intention is to allow engineers to learn from the mistakes of others to the benefit not only of their own engineering, but also the public at large. We must never forget as engineers that it is the public at large whom we serve by providing them with structures, buildings, bridges, dams that are safe for everyday use. It fits into the international scheme. We actually went to London and asked them if we could have a subdivision. What we actually then created was an international hub which is based currently in the UK, and we have then a hub outside of that, which is Southern Africa, that links to the international hub. We can then exchange information anonymously on all sorts of failures and problems within structures, internationally as well as locally. Many people look at the TV recently, see things that have fallen down, see things that have cracked, see things that have killed people. We look and we see all sorts of standard problems, not just big problems with failures, waterproofing problems. Most of us have come across those in our offices or our houses. We in CROSS want to take any engineering problem that is sent to us, review it, anonymise it so that it is totally confidentially reported, and then place it onto the website with comments from expert engineers within the field that the problem occurs, such that everybody can learn from it. Let's assume that you send me a report of some element of a structure which has failed or given you a problem. That report will come to me with your name. We will not take anonymous reports. I need to have the name so that I can ensure that I have all of the data for the report that will be necessary for engineers to comment validly on that problem. Let's call it a collapse, because people tend to think of collapses. You will send it to me. I will then take that report. I will ensure that all of the items are there. I will then strip that report of all identification, such as your name, the name of the contractor, paint out any signs on the photographs of the contractor's name, building, whatever. We keep a picture of the incident itself. We take all of that data and we refer it to a panel of 3 experienced engineers. Should the problem be in structures, it will be a structural engineer. Let's assume it was a water pipe in some shape or form. It will go to water engineering. Those comments will come back. The comments and the problem will then be uploaded onto the Cross South Africa website, and that will further be uploaded onto Cross International. Those comments can then be seen by any engineer, any engineering technician, anywhere in the world that wants to log on to a Cross website. We have good interaction with the International Hub. We are in fact a key shareholder in the International Hub, and we cross-reference data such that the same standard is applicable whether it is something in Mthatha here, or something in the centre of London, or something in Perth in Australia. So the same criterion are used worldwide. If you were to look at what happens with a structural investigation in Southern Africa, I think that that's a different thing. Investigations are often done by insurance companies or by the Engineering Council. There are several investigators that are on the panel which do investigations into failures. Those investigators normally will go to the site, have a look at the failure, speak to the engineer, get copies of the calculations, review the calculations, review what is placed on site. They will then come up with conclusions that are passed back to the Engineering Council's Investigations Committee for them to make a decision as to whether the engineer has sufficiently discharged his duty or not. One of the things that we find quite commonly is that the engineer has solved the wrong problem. So he's assumed that a floor slab is propped when in fact it isn't. That he has assumed restraints where there aren't such restraints. He's then followed through with the maths and probably got the maths perfect, but for the wrong problem. We also see at this point in time a lot of contractual issues, in the sense that contractors are less experienced these days than they used to be. The key all the time is economics. Time, not enough time spent on design, not enough time spent on construction, not enough time spent supervising. That doesn't make any engineers bad, far from it. South Africa, Southern Africa, has a lot of lovely, absolutely immaculately designed structures, well constructed by well motivated contractors and design engineers. We also, unfortunately, have another side to the industry which lets down the whole industry in terms of failures, not just structural failures. Waterproofing failures are probably one of the major causes of concern amongst tenants or property developers. Hopefully it will improve the industry, make role players take ownership of the problems that are created within the industry, simply to improve the quality of engineering in Southern Africa. That is the sole goal. If it happens to save one life, that also will be beneficial. But our mandate is to provide engineering excellence in Southern Africa.